Bringing you the voice and vision of custom culture and lifestyle, as seen through the eyes of this South Texas duo. Welcome to the Custom Couple. Welcome to the Custom Couple.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, well, we really dig your page. So, Terry, tell us a little bit about, some of the cars that you're building right now. Like, for one, that 40 Buick was freaking rad. So I want to know about that one first.
Yeah, it's still in the shop. It's right beside me right now. That one's for a customer of mine, Daniel. Mm-hmm. He brought his truck. You might have seen that on my page as well. I cut the back half off of it and redid the back of his truck so he could put a flatbed. But the Buick, I wanted it to bag, wanted it to lay frame. Been watching another builder online do a chop on it. Just looks amazing with a chop. But with the bags, I did stock suspension. I did drop uprights in the front, changed his lower control arms in the front, modified the cross member. In the rear, it already has trailing arms, so I did a 3-inch drop trailing arm, and we changed the tires around. So as the frame hits, the tire hits the top of the wheel well.
Oh, wow.
So it's a really cool car. I love the style of it sitting in the shop here. I'm going to miss it when it disappears tomorrow.
Aww. Damn, how long has it been in the shop?
About 8 weeks, 9 weeks.
That's not terrible. I mean, that's a lot of work to try to get done. So
yeah, I'm fortunate to have a wife and family that understand this is my addiction, my problem. So it's really good.
Definitely.
Yeah, I got 3 little boys, and they're out here sometimes with me, helping me out. And my wife and I have been together since high school, so she knows all about it. She's been in the life forever.
So she knows what she got roped into immediately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So, I mean, has cars just always been life for you?
Yeah, I grew up. My dad had, he was a vanner. He had 69 Firebird. He had Beetles, Bajas, Minis, just the gambit of all sorts of things. And then my granddad's had old cars from England. He's had Jags, TR6s. All my uncles have classic cars, so it's in the family. I started out with mini trucks and then went to classic cars. Once it was time to start a family, I specifically looked for a 54, and that's how I stumbled across the purple 54. It was in quite a few pieces. We went with a van, a truck, and a trailer and filled everything up with parts.
Oh, wow.
So that's been 13 years of building the purple 54.
Wow. What, like you said, you got it in pieces, and then the way it sits now is freaking immaculate. What do you have left to do to it?
You always want to do something else to it. I don't have a headliner in it yet, so that's the next thing.
That's where you get into.
You had a gentleman on one of your episodes, and he had a headliner in his car. Is it JR?
Oh no, it was Thurman.
Junior. Thurman's headliner in his car. I love that. So might try and be inspired by that headliner and get that sort of look.
Oh man, in talking with him, because we spent most of the day with him that day when we recorded, and he was telling us about getting the upholstery done and having to get it done for like a second time, and like, oh man, like I've gotten cars on the road and was just happy. Like I was like, I'm good. I can drive it down the road, but like I don't think I've ever had a car where I just completely finished it out. And his fear with it was he went so far with it he didn't want to drive it anymore because it was like too nice.
It became a show car at that point.
Yeah. You definitely change from having it in the garage and kids' bikes and Power Wheels all over the place to let's put everything in the shed or in the house. And the garage is just for cars. Whenever I'm working on something, cars get rolled out so they don't get scratches or.
You're like, let's clean.
Yeah, it's a different level of stress once it's finished. And then the white interior, it's always keep your feet off of it.
Oh man, I was so scared when we
got
in it.
Our dogs don't go in it because I don't want the dog hair all over it.
Oh man,
That's
man.
what we have yours for. So that way the dogs can go in it. Mine, whenever I get mine, nobody will go in that one.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
get too
No, I have
Yeah.
the little rat truck that is like jump in through the roof. I don't care.
Yeah. That's that's how they all start, right? They go that, and then they either stay like that or they go to the next level and get too far, and then they're shiny, and you're afraid to drive them again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, um, tell me what else you got on that lift, because I'm seeing this car behind you, and I'm like, oh, there's more stuff in this shop.
Yeah, that's my '57 Chevy. That one kind of really started maybe 2 years ago. My dad bought that one when I was 13, and the body was really rough. It had been rear-ended.
Mm-hmm.
So he found a nicer body to build his '57, and he was just doing part swap over, get his ready. His is complete. Everything's done on it now. He's been driving it, enjoying it. And it got to the point where my grandparents sold their farm. It was sitting at the farm. And I said, instead of scrapping it, I want to chop a car. I want to section a car. I want to build a full chassis. So that's what that one has on it. I've chopped it 3.5 inches, sectioned it 2 inches, built a full frame for it. The front suspension is 70 Camaro, and then everything back is all either plasma cut sheet metal, all formed together, or tubing, a mix of everything, and then it's bagged out.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
it sits to the crown of the roof under 4 feet tall. It's a pain in the ass to get into.
A friend of mine a long time ago, he has a chopped shoebox, and his biggest complaint was trying to go through drive-through windows, like to get fast food, because like you can never get anything through your little chopped window, and the people at the window don't know what to do with your drink because you can't get it inside the car, and you're having to
You're
spill
lucky with
it.
your open roof. You just reach through that.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
He just looks like Dino from the Flintstones when he lifts up because he's so tall. And I'm like, all right, we're going to do that today.
Because I can't see the lights. I can't see the stoplights at the intersections. So
Yep.
I'll be hunched down driving, and then when I get to a stop, I just lift my head up out of the roof and
That's funny.
see my surroundings.
Awesome.
But yeah, what's funny is you mentioned that you got your start in mini trucks, and a lot of folks in our culture, like it kind of crosses over a little bit, like the whole idea of customizing something. And I think Johnny Plumber is the only person in the world that I know that did not start in mini trucks. Because everybody I've talked to is like, oh, I had a mini truck, and it's like, yeah, me too.
You get to that point where you either keep going with them. They're only 2-seaters, right? So
Yeah.
really restricts what you can do with them. But I definitely enjoyed it. Learned a lot of skills on it.
Yeah. So what did you have as far as trucks go?
I had a '88 S10.
Okay.
I did a static drop first, and then I did a full-on bag system on that one. I did a one-piece Buick Somerset taillight with a welded tailgate on it. The tonneau cover I put on air ride as well. The interior was all wrapped in fiberglass, and I did a vacuum form fiberglass face in the dash. Everything on the truck was done, and then it was, do I do it, or do I just sell it and get what I really want now, and
Right.
lose a ton of money in the process? But that's cars, right?
I mean,
Always.
that's basically what I did. I got this really nice Thunderbird. I spent all this money on it. And then he got a ratty little truck. And I was like, well, that goes fast. I want that now. So now we're in the process of selling mine. And I'm like, no, I want to go fast. So I found this 5-window coupe that I absolutely love. And I want it so bad. So I'm like, nope, we need to get rid of it. No more nice and pretty. I want to go fast now.
Yeah. So that's where we're at right now. It's like we're leaning more towards hot rods and rat rods instead of like all the the nice pristine custom kind of stuff that we've been around. And
Because
it's
I'm
like,
too scared to like hit it or wreck it. I don't mind if I mess up mine, but man, if it's nice and mine has the original color, the original like interior, everything, and it was pretty pristine. So I'm like, I'm scared to put it somewhere, park it. So if I park like really far away. I'm like, nope, nobody get near it.
Someone still parked right next to it.
Yep, still do.
Without fail. That's actually the interior I'm looking for the '57. I want to do the Thunderbird interior in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Right
Um,
now, you can't sit on a stock bench. Your head hits the roof. I'm only 5'8" and I'm too tall for the car if it's a normal seat. So
Oh my God.
well, that's another thing. Shout out to Johnny Plumber. If you haven't started following Johnny Chop Customs here in Texas, go find him. He actually has a set of Thunderbird interior, like seats and such. So if that's what you're looking for,
okay,
he might be willing to give it up.
okay, yeah, I'll give him a follow right after this.
Yeah, definitely. And then he'll be glad that I gave him a shout out on the show.
Yeah.
So, is your shop, is that your full-time gig? Is that all you're doing right now?
No, I'm actually so my career's gone different levels, which has really helped me. So I'm tool and die maker.
Oh,
I
okay.
spent 5 years doing 3D CAD design for automation. So I designed my own brackets and anything for air ride that I need or framework.
That's
And now I'm into
awesome.
project management. So I'm managing, multi-million dollar projects on mostly automotive applications.
Yeah. I use a lot of CAD drawings for inspection purposes. I'm an engine inspector for turbine aircraft engines.
Oh,
So,
cool.
and a bunch of my bosses are up from your neck of the woods. So,
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird how many people travel. Like I deal with customers in Mexico that used to live an hour away from us. It's weird how people travel around. It's really small in each community, the hot rod community and the machine shops.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. So, you know, obviously your wife and kids are loving the fact that you're probably never in the house.
I'm I try and keep it down to a minimum. I still want to be a good dad. I don't want to completely dedicate myself to that.
Of
So
course.
it's an hour or two a night in the garage, and then one day a weekend. Try and dedicate to the cars, and then I have a free day and get to hang out and go bike ride, skateboard, whatever.
And
Of
how old are your boys?
They're 12, 10, and 8.
Oh my God, you got the whole range.
and they're all at
Yeah,
that
it's
active
the house.
age where they want to get out and bust some tricks on the skateboards and bust
Yeah,
open some kneecaps.
yeah. We load up my truck and head to the skateboard. We got BMXs, the scooters, the skateboards, everything they need.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We do the same thing, but it's just us. So
Oh, Penny, when we take Penny, we have a 5-year-old and she's in love with cars. She's actually the one who doesn't want me to sell my Thunderbird. She's like, "No, it's our car." And I'm like, "But I want another one."
Yeah.
But we do the same
Right.
thing. He'll be on his skateboard. We'll be on our roller skates. So yeah, we kind of get that. We have that busy schedule, but we still make time to have family time and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly. It's the most important thing.
what kind of car shows and stuff are you able to go to up there? Do y'all have a lot of local stuff, or do you make it out to like the bigger shows in the area?
There's some cruise nights around. One of my good friends, Ches, he started up Toronto Hot Rod Culture.
Hmm.
He's on Instagram as well. He does a really good show. A younger crowd of people with the customs, with the rats, all kinds of stuff showing up to that one. That one's about 2 hours away from me, but I get to meet new people, see new cars. It's a great show. There's another one, Jalopy Jam Up is around here. It's only about an hour from me, and it's the same thing. They have a pre 65 style entry, but anything else can come in. It just goes in a different area, and that's
Hmm.
another good show. There's a bunch of really good clubs around. Some beautiful cars, but they're all 2 hours, 3 hours away from me.
Of
There's a couple here in town, but not too many. It's myself and Jay, my buddy. He's got a '49 Chevy that's chopped here in town. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen on your page a few posts of you out parked with a few cars. It looked
Yeah.
like there was a couple of fastbacks in there.
Yeah,
Uh,
that one that you posted up on your story,
yeah.
the black one is Hamilton. He's a part of the Sutas Putas. Jay is the red one, so that's the chopped 49.
Hmm.
He's in the same club, and then Chip, he's got the blue one. They're all a part of the same club actually, and great guys. There's so many good guys around here, and it's surrounding yourself with those guys definitely helps out.
Oh, of course. Of course. It's always good to have a group of folks that you can kind of lean on when you need to. And then it's
Yeah.
always more fun that when you're done with your car and you're ready to go out and drive it, that, you got some other folks around that you can go cruise with.
Yeah.
We deal with the same stuff here. We're in a car club, and it's always more fun to be able to like take two or three out on the road rather than just go cruise by yourself.
Yeah. It's always fun to cruise by yourself, but when you got like 10, 12 cars with you, it's a different feel. It's
Oh yeah.
gives you that nostalgic vibe.
Absolutely. You said that you grew up in it, so like you know were you in the garage with your dad a lot, and learning
Yeah.
how
So
to
we
work on all this?
we grew up in another province, Saskatchewan, and it's the freezing cold province. Everywhere has block heaters, so you plug your cars in to keep the engine warm enough to start up. And so it's mostly summer. We didn't have a garage at that time, so he'd be doing everything out in the driveway. Cutting the side off of a van, welding it onto the back of another van when he was doing his van, and motor swaps, trans swaps, working for other people. It was always busy with cars and projects moving around.
So did you like, when you got into your cars and things of that nature, were you going out to like all the cruise nights with him and make it a family affair, or how?
Yeah. My dad and I went out. He's got a CJ7 Jeep, so we'd hop in the Jeep and cruise over to the shows, and then talk to the older guys and get some ideas. And saw my first chop top Merc at a cruise night, and that I think sparked a little bit of a fire. My buddy Ches I just mentioned just picked up a 50 Merc. It's gorgeous. It's getting pinstriped right now as we speak.
Oh, nice.
But lots of cruise nights around here. There was a big show here in town put on by Plunkett's. It was Fleetwood Country Cruising, giant show, thousands of cars.
Nice.
You get a bunch of the really original cars, and then you got the high end customs. He's got garages full of Cadillacs, and one done by Ron Box that's chopped, and just he's got a beautiful collection, great property, and the fact that he lets us come onto it is another great thing.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Who are some of the customizers that you like looked up to or looked to for inspiration on the stuff that you're working on now?
Well, when I start right now, always go back to Barris, Winfield. Those guys are the OGs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Voodoo Larry, the stuff he's doing, he's an awesome builder. Bellows, just super classy looking rides. Just love the looks of them.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
started out, there wasn't too much. That was when the internet was starting. Kind of when I was in high school. It's weird to think how far we've come. We're talking through the internet, and before it was just magazines. Is how you get all your articles and all your ideas.
Right.
Reading through how to chop a '53 Chevy through a magazine, and now you go on the internet, and it's way better with YouTube and
Right, you get the
Instagram
step
and
for
all
step.
yeah.
No, yeah,
I wish
absolutely.
there was one I planned out this 57 behind me for weeks before I even put a knife into her, but it was fun doing it. I look forward to doing some more chops and potentially taking my little hobby into that direction of doing full builds in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, be able to, have a part-time gig of, creating one car at a time and then selling it off and
Yeah.
see how fast it'll grow.
Yeah, I get too attached to them though. I want to keep them all.
That's the problem we had when we first got married and got together, is that we're like, oh, I want this car. Okay, we want a fast car. We want a cruising car. We want a chop car. We want this. I was like, we're going to need land at this point because we keep listing all these cars. I'm like, I don't want to sell it. I don't want to sell it. But I'm like, we need to make room. So, no, I completely understand that.
Just get a hoist. Just start stacking them.
Stack them up. Right?
We've seen certain parts of town that have that they'll just be stacked. I'm like, that's smart.
Yeah, you guys got the climate for it for all year.
Oh God, it's so hot here.
Yeah. Oh, we're in the hot parts of the year right now, and it hasn't even begun to get hot.
No.
So, we're just getting to the hot parts. We've had a couple hot days, but Nothing too crazy yet. We use the winters to build our cars and get them ready for the spring and try and enjoy them as long as we can up here.
See, I was talking to somebody about that before, and like this far south, like we don't get that. Like we don't have a downtime of, okay, you're stuck in the house for the next couple months and work on your car and get it done. Like here, we're driving year round. So like we lose a lot of like the that necessity. It's like, oh well, it's running.
It turns on.
I can wait a little bit longer to to do the maintenance that I need to do and all that. Or I've got this project that I want to do, but we've got 3 shows coming up in the next 3 weekends in a row. I'm got to be out in the car. I can't be working on the car.
It's a pro and a con. It's a pro and a con. We get so excited to have so many shows, but once your car breaks down at one show, you're like, well, shit, now I need to hurry up and just kind of quick fix it so I can make the next show tomorrow. So it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I'd have to have more cars. That's the answer.
Exactly. Yeah, more cars is always the answer.
Just keep the Thunderbird till your other one's built, and then get rid of the Thunderbird so you can still have that build time.
You're not wrong.
So what do you have on the agenda, like coming up? Like I know you've got a little bit more you want to do with the 54, but you have other projects like in line that you're ready to work on?
Yeah, I've got a couple more people that are lined up. So I've got my buddy Jay with that 49. He's bringing his 77 in. We're going to do a little bit of air ride on that. Couple guys, 53s. I got a 63 Impala. I'm going to go look at a 36 Chevy, 59 Fairlane. There's a couple guys that are looking to have some work done. So get onto some of those projects. I just enjoy having the cars in here, and some of them are dream cars that I wish I could have owned, and it's nice to have that 2-month possession where you can really enjoy the shape of that car and understand how they change things. Like the changes in 7 years in the 40s some of the stuff doesn't change, but other stuff does change a lot, and it's really neat to see how the engineering progressed throughout those years.
Yeah, definitely. I know engineers were, probably just as bad back then as they are now. Because being a mechanic, like I can't stand engineers. I want to become one at one point, but even then, I probably won't stand myself. But like in the late 50s, when Pontiac had 1 year for all their engines and transmissions, 59 didn't match up to a 60 and 60 didn't match up to a 61. And it's like they were going through so many changes at that time. It's like it's crazy to think about like how things, now, like they'll do one body style for like 7-8 years before they change anything anymore.
Yeah, we see a lot of that. We're refurbishing, like especially the Dodge Ram line. Like we're refurbishing stuff on that line was supposed to die years ago, and it's extended another 10 years. Like I'd rather work on the stuff that was 1 year only, and
right.
If it changed. But I don't want engineers going back to weird things like left hand and right hand threaded lug nuts.
Oh my God! You've owned Buicks too.
Doesn't make sense.
Or studs. I had a 59 Plymouth that it had wheel studs rather than lug nuts. So you'd have to sit there and try to get the wheel perfect on there so you could thread in a stud to it. And then the driver's side was left-hand thread. So I'm sitting there trying to get them off, not understanding what's going on. Then it dawned on me. I was like, I'm going the wrong direction.
Yeah. At least it was off and you weren't trying to tighten it before you could loosen it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that's always the trick. You got to tighten it at least like half a turn before you can loosen that thing off, right?
Yeah, just to break the threads loose a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, some of that stuff we were just like, what were you thinking? And like, at that time they were probably thinking, oh, it's it's a safety factor. We're gonna make millions because of how safe our cars are, and it's like they were in the wrong realms of trying to create safety. Like, have you you ever come across any Tuckers up in that direction?
A couple. When I was first starting to look for a classic car, I came across the Studebakers. There was one Tucker. They're all usually in pretty rough shape up here. It's if you find a good car, you jump on it and grab that.
Yeah.
Usually doing quite a bit of rust repair on cars. It'd be easier if all we had to do was customize them, but we have to fix too much rust around here. There's some oddball cars around here for sure, but people really like those classic styles, the Mercs,
Mm-hmm.
there's tons of Tri-5 Chevys up here.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
the 30s rats are big up here too, and the prices reflect it. Just a body is $5,000 for a body without a title, and
oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't negotiate with anybody unless it has a title.
Yeah, that we've gotten burned on that, not and cars being sold without paperwork, and
Yep.
yeah, it's a hassle. It can be done. It can
Yeah.
be done correctly and not illegally, but at the same time it's such a hassle. Also up there in Canada, y'all have Mercury pickup trucks.
Yes,
See, we didn't get that down here, and so like it's always cool whenever I see a what looks like a Ford truck, and then the tailgate will say Mercury on it. There's a couple around that
the differences in grills and tailgates and interior packages. There's a guy uptown. I just bought some bezels off of him for my car. He's got I think it's a 54 Mercury convertible. I think that's right, but it's a 1 year only car, and he's rebuilding his parts one because they're so rare. He's like, I can't just throw it in the garbage. I gotta build it.
That's when it starts. You're like, man, I really got to save this and hope I don't mess this up.
Yeah. Even some of the cars, like a 54 Pontiac. My buddy Mike has one. That's where I painted my car. He's got a paint booth,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a custom painter. So I wanted to learn how to spray flakes, so I sprayed this car. This is the 4th paint job I've done. But he was in there critiquing me, yelling at me. It was amazing to have him. But his 54 Pontiac has the same taillights as a 54 Chevy. But
okay.
there's another one that's a round tail light with a different fin design on the back. So even within the same year, depending on which country it went to, they were different. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. Like that's like the same thing with like a lot of the Dodge and Plymouth and things of that nature. If it was in the States, it was one way and had certain features, but then if it was north of that borderline, it was something completely different.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think like just I mean, you're only talking about a couple miles in each direction, and things just change completely.
Yeah, we're an hour from the border, from the Michigan border here, and those differences just to be an hour away is really cool to think about how they did it in the 40s and 50s, even the 60s when you get into that. My era is the 40s, 50s. That's where I love the styles of those rides.
Yeah, see, like we, of course we dig all of it, and I've owned, just a little bit of everything.
Everything. He's owned everything.
A little bit.
This man has gone through 22 old cars.
Yeah, so I just got bored with what was in the driveway. I'd drive it around, or I'd be working on it for a couple months and be like, I want to work on something different. And
I've had 2.
yeah, so but of course, like lately I've been getting more into like the 20s and 30s stuff, and pre-war stuff, but we've owned like big fin Mopar, 60s Plymouths and things of that nature, and I just love just the aspects a little bit from each era, just the differences that you come across.
Yeah, and you never see one built the same either. Once someone gets their hands on it, they put their own flavor into it. Just sit there at a car show and just, enjoy how they built it, go through it, try and find what they changed.
Oh yeah, our first the Plymouth, our 60 Plymouth, it was Totally run down, didn't drive, didn't nothing. They told us it was automatic. It was 3 pedals when we got there. Had to tow it. It was a big boat. I don't know why. I guess we just wanted to have a boat on wheels because that thing was huge. And it was just this awful lime green color, everything. That was the first car we painted together. I taped that entire car. It took me like 6 hours to do it, to do like every little fin and crevice. But we painted it black. We did like a red flake top, got white walls and everything, like just to see where it was, and what we got as the end result was just amazing. And so when we actually, finally sold it, we're still friends with the guy that we sold it to, and he's like, "Man, y'all did some really cool jobs." I was like, "I know, so nice." It was
but I remember one of your episodes. They were talking about how good your taping is.
Oh yeah, no, I love to tape. I don't know why. I absolutely loved it. He's like, "I can do it." I was like, "No, don't do it. I want to do it." Because I was like a perfectionist. I was like, "No, this is going to be perfect. We're gonna get this."
She got into crevices that I definitely wouldn't have ever. But with that car particularly, it came from Chicago, and it was rusted completely, and we were so worried to pull the trim off of it even and not be able to get it back on. So we were like, well, we're not professionals by any means, and we're not gonna throw this into a paint booth and go all crazy with it. So let's just see where we get with it, and we'll go from there. And sure enough, I mean, we got it one color, and we kind of dug it.
Now we did it a completely oddball way. When we painted it, we only did one half at a time, so it was straight down the middle. One side was green and one side was black. Now, we know that was not right, but we did it, and it looked seriously funky. You'd come down the street, because our driveway goes up, so you'd come down the street and you'd see the black side of it, and then you would go past our driveway and be like, "Wait a minute, it's green now." It looked funky. It was hilarious.
Depending on what side of the street you were on, it's all, that black car? No, that green car. Yeah. But there's things like that we've done together, as a couple. When we got together, it's like, "Hey, I'm into cars. You like cars?" It's like, "Yeah, I like cars." All right, then we're doing it.
We're sticking it out. This is the long haul now.
Yep.
Exactly.
Cars and music. That's it. Locked in.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. What kind of music are y'all digging up there right now? What's popular right now?
I don't know. There's a bunch. I try and listen to Spotify as much as I can. I can't listen to the radio. It's the same 5 songs over and over.
Yeah, never. Never. I was just wondering if live music has made a comeback yet in that area.
It's been tough over the past. We've been locked down, not really allowed to do too much for the past year and a half now. So there's been no outdoor events, can't even go into stores, can't do anything. They just started opening it up where we can go and have dinner on a patio. And my wife can go to the beach tomorrow while I'm at work. But we've been locked down pretty tight where, a lot of those things we're doing is pre-ordering. Anything you want to do to your house, you got to order it and then wait for them to email you, and then go sit in a parking lot, wait for them to bring it out to you.
Oh my God.
Car shows completely stopped. You can't do any of that. All the indoor shows that happened during the wintertime got canceled. It's tough. And you cross the border to try and get some car parts from P.O. box. You can't do that because you can't cross. My shop, if you cross the border, you're quarantined for 2 weeks. You can't come in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow, so y'all are shut down pretty hard.
We've really been locked down, on what we're allowed to do and where we can go, what we can do. They don't really want you being in contact with people that have traveled or anything like that. When it all happened, my wife, my family, my in-laws, we were all in Costa Rica, and we heard about it a little bit before we left, and then we were enjoying it. Everyone's talking about it. There's nothing else going on in the world but that. And 2 days after we came home, all the flights were canceled. So we got back in time and did our quarantine, and I was lucky I could work from home for a bit, and then my projects started to come to a head. So go into work, and I've been going to work every day. It doesn't bother me. I'm not worried about this at all, but it's definitely affected how people are living their lives and the isolation that they're having to go through.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we saw it, you know, big time here, and both of us, work jobs that we couldn't stay home. We had to go in and go to work, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's just everything's just really changed this whole past year and a half, and it's. I mean, it's opened up a lot more here.
Oh yeah.
We're able to get out and go to places and do things. That sounds like they just got you shut down completely.
Yeah, we've had three lockdowns. So they open it up a bit, the cases go up, lockdown again. Like my kids haven't really been in school learning too much. They've been at home, and my wife's had to, you know, help them out and be the rock star of the house, helping them do their schooling. And, that's a full-time job right there with
Oh
the three.
yeah.
Yeah, I interviewed Brian Darwas. He's with Atomic Hot Rods. They've put out a bunch of the hot rod DVDs and stuff. Or he did. I mean, he's a director, editor. He's just a jack of all trades with it. And I was joking with him. He's in New York. And I was asking him like what he was going through with all of it, and then I was like, you know what, this podcast has kind of turned into, well, how did the pandemic affect you and hot rods?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to stay away from the topic because everybody's going through it a little bit differently, and so that's nuts to hear like how much y'all have been shut down up there.
I was gonna say we're definitely the more free ones out of everyone we've talked to.
Yeah, we're following all your profiles to see all the cars and see if we're getting together having a normal life.
I was gonna say we've had a car show every week since this last month, and I'm like, oh.
My friend Chaz just had a gathering, but I couldn't make it up to it on Father's Day weekend. But that was the first one in a while now, and
Yeah.
hopefully there's some more happening, and we can get out a bit and enjoy our cars and get together as a community again.
You know what? When we go out to some of these car shows now, that's gonna force me to take more pictures and post
That way you can
more
see everything.
things.
Yeah, we gotta live through you guys. You guys gotta let us know.
That is absolutely nuts, man. Well, how about you give us some shout outs to some folks that are just inspiring you to do what you're doing, or people who have inspired you to get to where you're at now?
Yeah, I've been really fortunate, like I said, to have some good people around me. Jay, his Instagram is London Jay. He helped promote me a little bit in the beginning. Like, yeah, his work's good. He can do this. And Mike Fiore had that 47 Fleet Line, took the first risk of having me build a car for him, and, super happy with how it came out. He's happy and he's driving it around, and, his word of mouth, and it kept traveling. And then I meet people up at the first time I met Mike was up at Chez's show, the Toronto Hot Rod Culture Show. And, get to meet some good people up there. He's helping, spread the word around. Daniel, he had the truck and now the car in with me. Same club was the 65 LeSabre. That was Brian. He reached out as well. And then Mike, that 65 Continental that I did, that was from Mike Fiore as well, recommending me to another guy. So, really been fortunate to have some good people around me and help grow what I'm doing, and hopefully we keep it growing and keep it going.
Absolutely, man.
It sounds like you definitely have a good following already, and that honestly, even just talking with you now, you seem to be so like knowledgeable about all of it, and you seem like, I honestly wish the best. I hope that this becomes your career, because you just seem like this is it. This is what I know. This is how I do it, and and that's like something that's hard to find now, is that someone who wants to be challenged, wants to do all these different things and learn every bit that they can.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as much as it's calling out San Antonio, we have certain builders here who only want to build something one way, and that's it. And so that's where, we start taking things in our own hands. And it's like, well, is this going to come out good or is this going to come out bad? I don't know, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah, I'd love to get into doing more chops and stuff, but until I do a bunch on my own, learn some more tricks, and watching. I'd love to do some classes with some people. Like, there's some guys around here that do the courses and learn how to do that metal shaping a little bit better than where I'm at now. But I always feel like there's room to grow no matter what you're doing, that skill set. Like
Yeah,
the
always
the
learning.
interior in my 54, my dad completely stitched that.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So he's, the next one I'm definitely gonna be a part of that and learn how to do the upholstery side of it. Try and be I'd love to start a big shop and have teach other people the passion and
Mm-hmm.
skills and learn from them because everyone's got their own way of doing it.
Absolutely. So
But to
you
work
said
on
your
something
oldest?
different every time is a blessing. Like
Oh, of course. Of
if you're
course.
just doing the same thing every day, it gets tedious. I don't want to lower Civics every day. I want to build rad cars.
So you said your oldest is 10?
Oldest is 12.
12.
12.
Yeah.
So has he already put an eye on a car that he wants?
He's thinking old truck.
Okay.
So I kind of want to do one of the gentlemen I work with. His son is helps farmers out, so he comes across all these old trucks, and he's
Ooh.
picked one up. So I'm like, man, I need that. I want to section it, chop it. It's a 52 Merc pickup, so I want to have some fun
Ooh.
with that one.
Oh, if you pick up a Mercury pickup and you start working on it, I'm definitely going to be following every
Step
part
of
of
the
that
way.
build.
Yeah, it's a shame that there's some good people that I talk to all the time on Instagram, and that's the only social platform I have. And the builds that they're doing, and I wish we were closer so we could have that back and forth and bounce ideas and see what they're building, how they're doing it. Like I really enjoy that part. When I'm not building, I want to know, what's a different way to do it? Is there a better way? Is
Mm.
there something I'm doing that I could be doing more efficiently?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that'd be really cool. I would love to see you start building a pickup truck for your boy. That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah. That's part of the reason we've been looking is we've got our house here. It's perfect. It just doesn't have the land and a shop on it. We've got our driveway's a 2-car driveway. I've got 3 cars stuffed in the garage, and once he starts driving, if he gets a beater, and then we build him something cool. That's the same the way my dad did it. He pushed his car out into a field for us, and my brother and I both built cars, um, and then my dad finally got his turn after we'd moved out and had our toys. So my dad is my mentor. I look up to him for everything. The way he's lived his life. He's been so generous, helping my uncles and other people with their cars and getting them ready so they can enjoy them, and pushing his passion of building his 57 to the side. His dad, when he was younger, came home with a 57 as a work car, and that was the car my dad had to have. And he's into his 60s now, and I think 4 or 5 years ago is when the car finally hit the road. So that's 20 years after he bought a 57 is when he got to driving it around. So
Yeah.
you know definitely something I look up to and try and model myself after.
It's funny. My mom's first car was a 57, and she tells me the story all the time. And it was a 4-door, and my grandfather painted it. She wanted a purple car, and he
I
painted
understand
it
that.
with a paintbrush. He painted that car purple for her and gave it to her, and it was a 57 Plum. You know, she loved that car. That was her first car. I'm not gonna give away her age. She'll get mad. But yeah, 57,
Funny.
man. Those Tri Fives, I mean, they're nostalgic for lots of different reasons, and you see a lot of people in the culture like they draw themselves to 55, 56, 57. Like
Yeah.
those cars are just like iconic for that whole era. So
Yeah.
it's really cool you did a custom 57. I really
Yeah, I
dig
wanted to
that.
kind of be a little bit different, kind of step outside that. And, to me, if you chop it, you got to get that proportion right on the bottom. So a 2-inch section was a necessity.
Absolutely,
And
man.
I really wanted to keep the stock straight 6 and do the Fenton exhaust on it. But now the motor doesn't stick under the hood. So swapped it to a small block, and run an automatic transmission on it. It's the only car I've ever built with an automatic transmission. We'll see if I regret it and yank it.
I don't think you will, man. I think your left leg will appreciate that it doesn't have to work so hard on that clutch.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe get fancy and throw some AC into it.
There you go. You got to have one car that has AC and a working heater.
Yeah.
Down here in Texas, like everybody just takes the heater out and
I was
throws
gonna
it
say
away.
everybody throws the heater away. We don't want that. Screw that.
Yeah, I don't even have heaters in it. I got no heater in the 54. I yanked it.
Well, there's enough holes on the firewall, isn't there? You get all your heat from the engine.
Oh, that exhaust coming through. Before I did the interior and put some Dynamat down and some heat barrier, it was toasty.
Oh, I bet.
My wife would throw her purse on the floor and it'd melt the chapstick out of her purse.
Oh my god.
Well, Terry, it has been an absolute pleasure talking with you, and I'd be willing to say that this probably won't be the last time that we have you on the show, because it really has been great talking with you, and I'm gonna be bouncing a bunch of ideas as far as cars go off you. So I'm so stoked to have met you, and we're so glad that you were on the show with us.
I really appreciate you guys reaching out. Like I started listening. I was always searching Spotify for something new, and I stumbled across your podcast, and listened to them all. And then I was waiting for the next one to come out, and then my drive up to check out a vendor in the 54, I pop on the next one and listen to that on the way up. But thank you guys for doing a podcast where you're talking to people in the scene and getting names out there. And it's there's not too many out there, and it's good that people like you guys are doing it.
Absolutely, man. We're stoked to be doing it, and we're really happy. We're 10 episodes in right now, and we've got several that we're recording this week.
I know, there's so many. But see, this is why we do it though. We get to hear stories like this. Like, we would have never heard this story ever unless we found you and you found us. And that's what makes it more fun. Like, we honestly thought like this was your job, like this is what you do. And it's like, this is something that you want to be your job, and it's just so awesome to hear how you got into it.
Yeah, she's absolutely right. It's like, man, like getting these stories out of folks and how they got into the culture and into it. It's one thing to talk to, a bunch of folks that are just, I guess you can quote unquote celebrities, and get the same story that you've heard on 8 other podcasts already. Yeah. We can do that, but I'd much rather get out and find folks like you who are already supporting us, as far as listening to our podcast, and you're actually digging, what we're doing so far. I'd rather, get you on the show than, and hear, well, how'd you find us? And then how'd you get into this in the first place? Because it's a money pit. It's 100% money pit. No,
it is.
I'm
we don't want to say
with
that
you.
too loud.
I'm just messing with you, but
it's therapy. I got to spend my therapy money somewhere.
Exactly. What do they always say? You never see a really cool custom parked outside a therapist office.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we will let you get back to the family life and let you get back to working on those badass cars that you're doing, man. And for all you folks out there, you already know, in all things custom, keep it cool.